Here's some more games I'm calling Speedric, because they're just speedy Edric games here. I'm going to plow through, so let's go ahead and get started. In this first game here, what I did, just so you know, is lined up at the bottom here all these different duels. I haven't reviewed them to find out if the recordings are good or not, so we might have some bad ones. And basically all they are is back-to-back games that I was playing earlier. You can probably see, like, let's see if I can, here's all the, well, not every single one showed up in replay, so some of these I'm only going to have one chance to record, so hopefully you enjoy this. I will bring up the deck list at the end of the recording, you can check it out. Let's go ahead and get started though. Anyway, here we go. So my hand will be at the bottom of the screen, and it looks like my permanents and things will be up at the top. Opponent's playing a new creature, I think that is, Vishkal, Blood Arbiter. It's absolutely terrible, it's way too much mana. Anyway, I can't keep the hand that I'm shown. I mulligan and decide that this is good for me. So we'll go ahead and get started. So, lead off with Rainforest, and I use to fetch an Arbiter, or an Arbor rather, and then play Bloom Tender. One of the things I could have done was actually held up a Unified Will there if I was concerned, but I felt like I would be able to get away with playing the Bloom Tender. So he just Traveler's Amulets, and then I go ahead and play Edric, and then I've had enough tapping out, and I stand up. I leave the Bloom Tender alone so that I can Mana Leak or Unified Will. Mana Leak is better to use when I can. Unified Will is going to stay active throughout the game, so I spend a Mana Leak countering his blocker, and then get in there and draw some cards. Boom, boom, boom. And because I drew Force of Will, I go ahead and just tap out for Glenelendra. So he does nothing. Oh, he said he hit the F6 key. So on his, he was trying to hit the F6 key on my turn, but I guess it passed so quickly that he hit it on his turn, so he missed a land drop and he didn't do anything. So I told him, in order to prevent, you know, the game from being, so that we could continue to have a good game, I told him that on my turn I would just do what you just saw. I tap all my mana and creatures and say go. I don't play a land. So although I did draw an extra card, so did he. And basically what we've done is replicated the game state as it would have been last turn. So, in case you're wondering what the heck was going on. So he plays a Hex Mage, and I just hit him with Glen, and then go fetch my Cradle, and get down with Transmuted Muddle for Jite. He kills Cradle and tries to exile Jite. Of course, I Glenelendra it. Trinket for a Soul Ring. Soul Ring equip Jite, and get ready to kill a Vampire Hex Mage at some point. So he plays a Pilgrim's Eye, and then in turn I kill both of his creatures, Mystical Tutor for Natural Order. And on my turn I draw a bunch of cards. Boom, 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 and fetch myself a Hive Master, play a Llanowar Elf, play Sword of Fire and Ice. Decide I'm not even going to bother natural ordering since I have such a commanding position. So I just counterspell his creature and smash him for a billion damage. And now it's time to play natural order. I regrow Guy's Cradle, play an Arrayo, and a creature, flip my Arrayo with natural order, killing all three of his swamps, and then clone my Trastodon, killing more of his mana, and bribe him to just go get a Solemn, who I then natural order, so draw a card, and gain some life, so that he can't possibly attack me here. If he does, it's foolish, because he can't kill me, and he decides he's, I guess, feeling suicidal, so he sends all of his guys in, and I just Jite off whatever's left, and do stupid things just for the fun of it. Replay the Bribery, use it to play his own Massacre Worm, not even gonna bother to go through his deck, whatever. And then I Jite, which gives everything -2/-2, the elephants, and then I use Jite to finish them all off and kill him. So, next game, I won the dice roll, so I'm going first, and it looks like the recording for this one's good. I'm gonna have to be a little bit quicker for these games, I think. But I had to pause that one due to the mistakes. He's playing Kami the Crescent Moon, which will negate somewhat the extra cards that I'm drawing, because relative to him, he'll be getting cards as well, so relative to him, it's not going to be as meaningful. Let's get down to mana, since I'm going to be getting free cards. And then I decide to play a Garrick and Arbor Elf. Since Signet does not have Summoning Sickness, I can play it next turn. So he puts Curiosity on the Kami and then attacks Garrick, so he doesn't even get a card there. So I play Edric and Sword. Equip my Elf. He tries to bounce it in response, so I untap a land and replay it. And then he clones my Sword. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to steal his guy, play my Signet, equip my Sword, play my Priest, draw a couple of cards, untap all of my lands, play another creature, would make a beast token, play Terastodon, blow up all of his guys. And of course, if he plays a land and equips Sword, I'm just going to trump with his own Kami. He doesn't though, so I go ahead and just steal an elephant, steal another elephant. And he just gives up. So, this game my opponent won. He's playing Zuri, Renegade Leader. So, Overrun on Demand seems like it should be good, but it's really not that good, as you'll see. Although it would be better if he wasn't playing crap like this. Joiner Adept, an elf which does absolutely nothing in his deck, since he's playing mono green. So anyway, I get down just Edric and say go, just because of how the mana worked out that turn, that's how I had to do it. Play my Curse Catcher, and then fetch up a Cradle, which I used to play Raphaelos. My opponent plays Drago Warcaller, so all his guys are all his elves are +1/+1. So then I play Tezzeret, fetch Shackles, steal his Imperious Perfect. There's also a Crusade for his guys. He makes a guy in response though. And then I just swing in with Edric. I'm perfectly willing to trade a non-card for any one of his 3 elves, since my 3/3 Edric is, he can't trade this or this, he's going to have to block with that, if anything. And I'm just going to replay it next turn, so he takes it. He takes that trade, and then he plays Wirewood Symbiote and Azuri. This sucks because if I try to kill Azuri with Masticore next turn, you can just pick up Azuri. Azuri can't regenerate itself, but Wirewood Elf can pick him up to kind of dodge the bullet. Oh well. So I make a guy, since it's basically free with Gaia's Cradle. Use Tezzeret to go get a Mana Crypt. Cast a Spiketail Hatchling and a Masticore, and then I tap for 6 mana in preparation of locking and loading. But he gives up. I think something about Masticore and a Gaia's Cradle compels him to do so. Anyway, so here's a guy or gal playing Witchbell, playing Teysa Orzhov's Scion. So this game's obviously going to be about natural order. I'm going first. You get a beautiful Curse Catcher. I'm really liking this card more and more as I'm playing it. Hit him for a little bit of damage. It's meaningless, and play Raphaelos. He gives up. I don't know why he gives up, but maybe he misses a land drop or whatever, but it didn't matter. He was going to probably, assuming he had a land drop, he wasn't going to be able to do too much of anything. I would have played Edric. Actually, I would have played Ancient Tomb, tapped for 5 mana, played Sword of Feast and Famine, equipped it on Curse Catcher, hit him, untapped my lands, and then I would have cast Spiketail Hatchling and said go. And then on his 3rd turn, he would have done whatever he would have done. I would have either Curse Catchered it or Spiketailed it, or possibly let it resolve if it was cheap. On my turn, I would have played Edric, hit him again, and then natural ordered and killed all of his lands, boom, boom, boom. And that would have been game. After the elephant got equipped with a sword, he can't even block with, the Terastodon, he can't even block with his little elephants. So anyway, here's a guy I had a bad experience with before, but I didn't block him because I like to try to give people a chance, unless they're just really awful. So I had this hand here. It's kind of sketchy, but I decided to keep it. Look at that beautiful top deck, Crucible World. So barring like a strip mine here, I'm good to go. Better yet, I drew a land. So I play Crucible and a land, and I sack and use that mana to play Raphaelos, who is in the house. And then I just replay a free forest, Dryad, and get Glennelendra up just because it was kind of like a debate. You know, I could drain Sherman, or I could drain Hermit, say go, and then the next turn I play Edric and draw a ton of cards. Plus, drain Sherman's really good with Garrick. But because he has all this mana, I wanted to get Glennelendra with some counter magic up. I'm winning this game already, so I might as well just kind of, hold the fort. So he just plays like Zamek Guildmage. It's actually an interesting card, and it's one I've thought about putting in here. Because there's a few combos. It combos with the range Hermit wonderfully, as well as my other token maker. But the other thing that it combos with is Glennelendra. See, because if Glennelendra persists and you activate this, she'll come back and play with a -1/-1 counter and a +1/+1 counter. Those two counters will obliterate each other, and then Glennelendra will be fresh. And basically what you have is 3 mana infinite negate. And so for that reason right there, the combo with that and the fact that it combos really well with a few of my other cards, I have definitely considered it. But carrying on. So I tried the Edric and he Mystic Snakes it, so I just drained Hermit instead. And hit him with Glennelendra. And decide I'm not going to tap for 5 for Edric. I'm going to hold up Glennelendra still. I can get around to Edric later. So glad I did. He tries to throw out on a Sword of Fire and Ice, which I counter. And I paid the upkeep easily enough with Orphelis. I've been intentionally searching for just forests over and over with this, as opposed to playing like my Grove or whatever. So I go get another forest, play Edric, and then I overrun. I activate the overrun because what it's going to do is, although it's not going to kill him, he can't chump. He can't like block anything really without me drawing a card either way. And if he doesn't block anything, which is what I expect him to do, he's going to take so much damage. He won't even be able to Alpha Strike back, because if he does, then on my turn I'm going to attack and kill him. So this will put him in a no-win situation where he can't afford to block this turn because it does nothing, and after this turn, because of how much damage he's taken, he can't afford to attack either. So when you can't block or attack and you're playing creatures, you're pretty much a dead man. So I draw a ton of cards, of course, and then just throw away some extra mana sources, which, I've got Crucible, so it's fine. He plays like something that, it's like double Crusade over there. Whatever, Lotus Cobra. Don't care. I top deck Cradle just to go along with the whole madness of this draw. Play myself a Wirewood. Play a Sower. Steal his Crusade guy. Equip Sword. Do horrible, horrible things. Clean up his whole board. And kill him. So lastly, I'm playing against this guy here. Clam's Keep. And my hand is at the bottom, but my board is at the top again. He's playing Tiamat? Yeah, Tiamat, the Murder King. So you can sacrifice other creatures to deal 2 damage to target. Player. I was reading that as creature or player. I thought his guy was really good. So I played this whole game under the assumption he would be able to sacrifice another creature in order to kill Edric or one of my guys whenever. This is much, much weaker than I thought it was. Okay, so keep in mind what I thought the card did, mainly because if it doesn't target creatures too, it's basically a trash card, which, apparently it is. But I'm playing around something the card doesn't do. So I just throw away Wasteland because it looks like he probably isn't playing too many non-basics, and it's possible that I'll need all my colored mana. I don't know yet. I top deck Strip Mine, so that's cool. I just get it in play because I like having it in play if I don't need these other lands. I like holding the any land that searches for green in case I need to go get Arbor. So here I'm thinking that on his next turn, he's going to be able to kill Edric. But I figured with the 2 mana ability. But I figured if he does, I might as well get an extra creature for my troubles, because what I'm trying to do is set up opposition and eventually Shackles take this guy. So, but he plays Jite, which definitely will kill Edric, and so I blocked this way because if I threw Edric in front of it, his guy would die. He'd get 2 counters on the Jite. One would kill Edric, and then one would kill Hivemaster. But by blocking with Insect, his guy will die. He gets 2 counters on his GT, and then he can kill Hivemaster or Edric, but not both. So he decides to hold off. I guess maybe he'll respond to an elf by killing this, or he'll wait and see how my attack step goes, or whatever. So I just go ahead and cast Opposition, and I don't attack. And I say go, and he doesn't GT anything. So I go ahead and upkeep, I tap his command tower, and then let him dump his mana. And he casts Avalanche Riders, which takes out my strip mine. And then I go ahead and just tap. I should have tapped his Murder King, since commander damage is worse than Avalanche Rider damage. I mean, they're both 2 damage, but this one will kill me in 21, this one won't. But anyway, so that turn went pretty well for me. The whole point of that turn was to prevent him from being able to equip GT, which I did. So this turn, I play a Spiketail and a land, and then I say go, and he wisely kills Wirewood, and he kills Spiketail, and that is good for me because first thing I do is I tap the Murder King. So my goal here is to get him to pay. Remember, I think that 2 mana will let him sacrifice Avalanche Riders to kill Edric. So I'm sitting here thinking like he's going to pay the Echo cost, then play a land, and then kill Edric in my head, right? So I'm like, so he pays the Echo cost. So once he does that, I go ahead and just sack my Rainforest to go get a Surprise Arbor and tap his command tower. That was the right play anyway because it locks all his mana down, takes away options. He can't equip GT without a Mana Crypt or an Ancient Tomb or a Mox Diamond and 2 lands. But a land and a Soul Ring. I mean, there are ways to do it, but it's very difficult. But from my perspective, on the other side of the table, the other thing I was thinking is now he doesn't have 2 mana to sack his Riders. So he just says go for whatever reason. Doesn't really help him out too much. And then I Shackles and take... After much thought, I thought about taking the Riders, which would then give it haste. And I could hit him and draw a card. I could use the same plan that I'd been using to hold off his guys. And then on the next turn, I would not pay the Echo cost. I'd kill it, and then I'd have Shackles. But instead of screwing around with all that, I just take the Murder King, because now, since I'm thinking that the Murder King can literally murder my side of the board, now I feel safe. So whatever he tries to equip GT on is going to get tapped by Opposition, of course. But he doesn't try to equip GT, so I don't care about 2 damage. So as soon as we enter combat, I go ahead and tap his command tower, so now he doesn't have 2 black after combat. And he plays like a morph. And I don't care. So I guess realizing that it's over, he gives up. Like, he plays his morph and gives up, so I mean, okay. But what was going to happen there, of course, is I was going to, assuming I drew, who knows what I would have drawn, but I intended to play Sylvan Rager, get a land, use the land to play Gunalendra, have 5 creatures untapped, and then tap down, 1, 2, tap down both of his black sources and mountain, whatever his morph was, and then hold my last tap and see what he did. If he tried to equip his guy, then I tap his guy. If he enters combat without equipping his guy, then I tap his land. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed those games. It was a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be. I've moved the cards in the deck because I know where the watermarks are in my videos, so you should be able to now see the deck more clearly. But this is the deck list that I was using, and there haven't been any changes recently to it. So at any rate, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.